Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the Online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a really fun tournament-winning Spectrier team. This team was built by a player called Bass, and they were able to finish first in a big online grassroots tournament this past weekend with over, I think, 100 players, and they were able to win with the Spectrier team. So congratulations to them. I've linked their Twitter in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste for this, so thank you to them. All credits for the team, of course, go to them. And yeah, it's really built around Spectrier. Hilariously enough, I actually played 2 games with the team just now to get some practice in, and I didn't end up even Dynamaxing Spectrier in either games just because they were like really non-optimal matchups for it. But I think that's also a testament to the team. Like, while Spectrier is obviously the primary Pokemon you want to max with this team, you actually have a lot of good offense from everything else, especially the Assault Vest Incineroar. Often Incineroar in the format is seen as just a really bulky Pokemon that is used to disrupt the opponent with Fake Out, Parting Shot, for example, and just Intimidate. But this one is a fully offensive set with Flare Blitz Assurance and Close Combat. And it combos especially well with Spectrier because what you can do is just go Max Phantasm, lower the opposing defense, and then combo it with Assurance to just pick up a KO onto most things. Like, the thing about Spectrier is that, yeah, it doesn't have great coverage as a regular Pokemon, but Dynamax, you get Ghost, Normal, and Ground coverage, which is pretty solid, and it can really snowball games quickly with its ability as well. And this team specifically likes to use Max Phantasm, lower the opposing defense, and then just pick up these big knockouts with Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Incineroar. So, a lot of cool combos here. We've been using Rillaboom and Regieleki a bunch recently. I think Water Urshifu is pretty cool for this team because you already have Dark-type coverage from the Incineroar. So, yeah. So I'm eager to just feature the team. Hopefully I get some good games in with Dynamax Spectrier. And yeah, thank you to Bass once again for the team. So another thing I just realized is that we've been doing Road to Rank for like about a year plus now with Sword and Shield. Now that we're in December already. So very much appreciate everyone for continuing to come out and watch the videos. Very grateful for all of you and hope you've been enjoying. So if you do, please show support by leaving a like on the video. I really appreciate it. And question of the day, with 2021 coming up, I want to know what your hopes and expectations for just Pokemon as a franchise are in the comments below. What games do you want to see? What do you want to see from the competitive format? Just general thoughts. Let me know. All right, first game. Wow, what is this team? It's like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, right? You have Whimsicott, Cinderace, and then the Spectrier. So those are all really fast, and then probably Scarf or Bandracovish. But then you have Dusclops and the Glastrier. So I like Spectrier a lot here, honestly. I really do. I feel like Incineroar Spectrier here is pretty solid, because I can just Fake Out. I get an Intimidate against your main... Well, okay. The one problem with Incineroar Spectrier is if my opponent leads Whimsicott plus Spectrier. I guess that's a decent enough threat that I might go Clefairy instead. We have so much priority with this team, which is great. I love that. I feel like it should be Rillaboom. Like, Rillaboom does so well. And Incineroar, but then I feel really weird not bringing Urshifu. And Regieleki is not half bad here either. But with Tailwind from my opponent's end, I think it's less of a bring. I'm leaning towards Urshifu just because I have the Focus Sash, and I think my opponent's likely going to get Tailwind up, so I care less about Tailwind being up if I know I can survive an attack from your end. But I'm just going to go with Spectrier as a lead. The one downside of not bringing in Sin is that I don't get the Intimidates off against Cinderace and Glastrier, and those are like 2 of the best Pokemon to Intimidate. But the problem with the Incineroar here is that my opponent has a Dracovish. I still get wrecked by Dracovish here, and I don't know if I do enough damage with the Incineroar to really feel good about bringing it here. I don't know, the other lead I wanted to go with was just Incineroar Spectrier, but I feel like if my opponent leads Whimsicott plus Spectrier, I'd probably have to switch out my Spectrier. They go with Glastrier or Cinderace, wow. Okay. I mean, I don't think that's that much of a problem, right? Who do you Dynamax here is the other question. I would think Spectrier. Or, sorry, Glastrier. I got Rillaboom Urshifu in the back. That's good. Can't I just Helping Hand Max Phantasm turn 1? KO Cinderace? That seems okay to me. This is just not the lead I was expecting at all, because I feel like with my opponent's team, you want one of the 2 speed controls in the Tailwind or the Trick Room, and you would want to try to set one of those up, but they didn't lead Dusclops or Whimsicott. So Incineroar Spectrier would have been okay here too, but I don't mind this at all. Because I feel like Spectrier, this is like a perfect example of a game where Spectrier maybe really can just snowball this very, very quickly. Single defense drop onto the Glastrier is also very nice. Okay, let's see who they Dynamax. I mean, Clefairy is just such good support here for the Spectrier. It's also... both of these Pokemon could have Steel-type attacks, obviously. And they Dynamax the... Oh, it's going to be Coaching, isn't it? Coaching Focus Sash, I think, is a possibility. Although you do have the Whimsicott here, so I think you'd want Sash in the Whimsicott. That's a possibility. Well, it's the Battle of the Horses. That's kind of fitting for our very first game here. Oh, they just Taunt. Okay. Oh, you do change your typing, though. But they Taunt into Spectrier. Interesting. Okay, so we get a Phantasmoff. Oh, it's still a KO. Okay. Not bad. Because we get a... That's already a single defense drop, right? Now, it might be a Steel Spike onto the Clef. Like, I expect that, but... In the battle of Spectrier versus last year, I think Spectrier definitely is in a favorable position right now. Yeah, they go Steel Spike. That's fine. Into Clefairy. Let's see if we survive this. Nice. That's huge. That's a huge survival. Because it means now I just have another Helping Hand or Follow Me this next turn. And this is why I was confused by this lead. Because, like, now, how do you get Trick Room up easily? I mean, you probably want to bring in Whimsicott, maybe Tailwind, but, like, Glacier is just so bad under Tailwind. They just bring out Dusclops, which is fine by me. I mean... We have the special attack boost on the Spectrier, so it's just a free Phantasm into the Dusclops slot, I think. Yeah, that's super free. There might be even value in conserving the Clefairy here and switching out. What do I think my opponent's last one is? Phantasm should definitely be a one-hit KO onto Dusclops here because we have that special attack boost. So I'm definitely just going to go for that. Yeah, I don't mind switching out an Rillaboom here. Or do I just conserve Clefairy? Rillaboom might get one-shot here, actually, by a Hailstorm. Yeah, I'll just let you KO the Clefairy, that's fine. I'll just play it safe. And Follow Me. I guess Helping Hand is maybe even safer here. But I just can't see a world in which Dusclops survives a +1 Life Orb Modest Max Phantasm. Might be Ally Switch, but no Ally Switch. Okay. Yeah, that's a clean KO. Beautiful. One-shotting Dusclops is honestly like one of the best feelings ever. I honestly think my opponent should have gone with the Whimsicott route against us. I was prepared for that still, but I think that might have been better for them. Yeah. The main thing I was worried about here is like they ended up going for Steel Spike. That's why I wanted to switch in the Rillaboom. But the thing is that if you do go for a Hailstorm, you one-shot the Rillaboom there, suddenly I'm down a huge offensive tool, right? Whereas now you just give me a free switch into either offensive tool that I want to go into. So when we think about what was in the back, there was Dracovish. Honestly, Dracovish is the one thing I'm worried about. So I think it's fine to just go out in a Rillaboom. Yeah, because by going in a Rillaboom, I could just fake out whatever is next to the Glastrier. And that puts us in a really winning position. Yep, nice. Okay, I mean, I think it's very unlikely the Dracovish has Protect here. Dracovish is almost always Choice Scarf or Choice Banded in VGC. Just because, like, those are just so much better items than anything else you could really run on it. So, for that reason, we can just Phantasm Dracovish and fake out it. The thing is, even if you have Protect here, you don't one-shot my Spectrier. And with Urshifu in the back, it's pretty much a wrap. Yeah, they don't have fake out on the Dracovish. I'm expecting Choice Scarf here. But I also don't, even if you're Scarf, like, I don't know if you can, if you're Jolly max speed, I would think you outspeed Spectrier. If you're Adamant, can you even outspeed Spectrier? I don't know. Okay, that's another clean knockout. It's 3 knockouts in 3 turns. I mean, this is what Spectrier wants to do, and that's why Clefairy is such a great partner for it. So we got the perfect setup in this game. And they go for Quake here. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why they didn't go Hailstorm, but I guess they're targeting... Wow, that did a lot. Why Quake there? I guess for a special defense boost. Yeah, but I feel like you just need a KO at this point. Did I have a switch-in that I could go out into? Incineroar. They're probably reading Incineroar. Yeah, that makes sense. But that should be game now. Yeah, I don't know. Taunt Cinderace was interesting. That went into Clefairy. Could have been kind of scary. But I feel like Cinderace was just amazing here. And this is one of the downsides of using a slower Glastrier, right? So we can just Shadow Ball and Glide now. Actually, Wood Hammer is more consistent since we're faster anyway. I wonder if Shadow Ball just one-shots. We're not going to get to find out, unfortunately. But this is the power of Spectrier. And that's the nice thing about Clefairy. There aren't that many Pokemon in the format like in one-shot Clefairy, and even just having one turn of Spectrier plus Clefairy is really, really good. Especially if you can chain a knockout. The other really nice thing about the Spectrier is that it does have that Hyper Beam, so you can max strike opposing Pokemon, right? Which means that you actually give yourself some speed control. That's actually really important when you consider that, you know, Urshifu, Rillaboom, Instant are all in the back, and they're not exactly... I mean, Urshifu is decently fast, but it's not, like, the fastest. Okay, we're up against pretty big hyper offense here from the opposing end. I think the Regieleki Dragapult combination is pretty scary. EV Instant, like, we might actually consider maxing Instant here. I don't know, I mean, maxing Spectre is still not bad, though, right? Regieleki is interesting here. Who would I bring? I don't think we bring Urshifu here. Yeah, I don't think we bring the Urshifu here because it just doesn't do anything against the Dragapult. Clefairy is interesting because of the redirection support. Incineroar is interesting because of how well it matches up into Dragapult, but Dragapult can still lower our attack, which is kind of the concern. So I'm thinking of maybe Spectrier plus Clefairy here because, once again, just offers redirection support. I want Regieleki in this one, I think. Miracle Seed Rillaboom is kind of nice here. But, this one's tricky. Like, I'm thinking Rillaboom Instant as the back two. But I can't help but think, like, our... It's the early game that we really have to try to basically win. I think because my opponent's team can snowball really quickly with Regieleki and Dragapult, like, very, very quickly. And the thing about Regieleki is that it gives my opponent speed control with Electro Web. But if they're Specs and they have Electro Ball, they can also just, like, one-shot Clefairy, potentially. So actually, I feel like Regieleki... maybe I should have led Rillaboom, because with Rillaboom I can just glide into Regieleki turn 1. But it's Amoonguss and Instant. Okay, I don't mind that. I'm actually very happy to see that, I think. Unless... my one fear now is Focus Sash Amoonguss. But if you're not Sash, I can just turn 1 go Helping Hand Max Phantasm. And that'd be pretty good, I think. Yeah, because this is like as defensive as Elite as it gets from my opponent's end, and I think this favors us more. So I am leaning towards just Helping Hand Phantasm onto Amoonguss. The only downside here is if you are actually Focus Sash Amoonguss. Sash Amoonguss is not that common, but it's still a possibility. Like, Koba, you know, is a pretty common item right now. Actually, looking at my opponent's team, I don't know. Like, there aren't that many Pokemon that look like would have Focus Sash. So if they are actually Sashed here, I could have gone, like, Double Protect into Phantasm Dazzle instead. So this is a little bit risky, because if they are Sashed and they Spore Spectrier, we probably just lose on turn 1. So I'm making a slight gamble here, hoping they're not Sashed. Okay. Yeah, they go for Fake Out onto Clef, that's fine. So let's see if they expect the offensive Spectrier coming out here. We get the Phantasm off. Nice, no Focus Sash. That's actually such a big deal, because not only do we knock out Amoonguss, but the Incineroar didn't go for a Parting Shot either, right? So I just get an instant special attack boost. I still have Clefairy for redirection support, and you can only bring in one of Regieleki or Dragapult. Now, I think, like, Dragapult, it was the Pokemon I was most worried about, but at this point, the Spectrier should be able to one-shot anything else coming in with Phantasm, and we also have a +1 Max Quake into the Incineroar slot. They're going to bring in Rillaboom. That is so good for us, I think, because my opponent just does not have much damage right now. And that's the thing. If you can... that's one of the reasons why I love Helping Hand, by the way. Its ability to just kind of ignore Fake Out on turn 1, and now, like, the opponent's Incineroar is just in such an awkward position, right? So we have Incineroar and Rillaboom in the back, which means we should probably just try to KO the opposing Incineroar here. But we could also just go for a Helping Hand Phantasm onto a Rillaboom. Okay, my only question is whether or not Quake KOs. Like, my opponent could glide into the Clefairy, obviously. I could even switch Clefairy out into Incineroar. That might not be half bad. I don't know if Quake KOs. I think I'm going to Phantasm the opposing Rillaboom and just switch out into Incineroar here. Yeah. Okay, I guess this is actually a little bit risky. Because if I lose... Spectre, I'll lose the game. And if they actually went like Glide, Dynamax, Incineroar doubled up into Spectrier, which honestly is not like a crazy play. Well, actually, I think it'd still be fine, because their Incineroar would be at -2 defense. We have close combat on this Incineroar, but they don't Dynamax good. And they Glide into Incineroar. That is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Great. Okay, so this should be another KO now with the Max Phantasm. Let's see. Beautiful. Spectre has picked up a knockout on like every turn it's been out on the field this game, and I think that's just been absolutely incredible. So we get a knockout onto that. Now we're at +2 special attack. Of course, now with Incineroar I can fake out, but they might go Parting Shot into the Spectre here. Let's see if that is the play they went for. Nope, they just went Flare Blitz. Okay, perfect. They wanted to double up on Clefairy, but we denied that. Now they're stuck in with an Incineroar at -2 defense, and it's intimidated, so it's in a really bad spot. And if my opponent's last one is Dragapult, what I can do is just switch the Incineroar back out into Clefairy, which, you know, activates Friend Guard again, and then just Phantasm. Or consider Max Quaking the Incineroar, actually, because I don't think Incin is going to have Protect here, whereas the Dragapult might Max Guard in front of us. Assuming it is Dragapult. I mean, it could be Feeny, but yeah, it is Pult. I feel like Regieleki Dragapult would have been a really scary lead to go up against here, but it did not come out, which is good. So I have Assurance, Close Combat. We've got Rillaboom in this endgame. I think it's just go for Max Quake onto the Incineroar and switch Incineroar out into Clefairy here. Because this just reactivates Friend Guard, right? And I think with Friend Guard back up... Okay, I guess the only thing is I'm unsure if Dragapult can one-shot us even through Friend Guard. I wouldn't think so. I'd be really surprised, but... Spectre is not exactly the bulkiest Pokemon. So I guess we're about to find out. It could have been better to just have protected Clefairy last turn instead of switching in the Incineroar. Because if we lose this because Spectre faints, then something definitely went. Like there's no excuse to lose this match. I'm targeting Incineroar here just because I think it's very rare that it ever has Protect here, and if we can pick up a KO and force this to be like a 4v1, it's just instantly over. So yeah, and I think like, well, I don't think Dragapult ever goes for Max Guard here. I think you always just target the Spectrier and hope to pick up a KO. I guess we are opening ourselves up to losing to a crit here potentially. Yeah, they don't Max Guard. It's just gonna be Phantasm onto Spectrier. That one shot, was that a crit? Wow. Oh, I didn't think that'd KO, but that means that they are Life Orbed. That's okay, actually, because we have... If you're Life Orb, that means I have Assurance Incin. Yeah. I have Assurance Incineroar, and with Assurance Incineroar, what I can do is just Helping Hand Assurance into Dragapult. You're going to go Phantasm into Clefairy, because you're not going to go Wormwind. I'm pretty sure Helping Hand Assurance with... after that Life Orb damage just picks up the KO anyway. So, yeah. I think we're fine regardless here. I just honestly didn't think that would pick up the knockout to be... with Friend Guard, but I think I overestimated the, overestimated a little bit there. And I think here you never see the Assurance coming, because that's just such a rare attack on the Incineroar. I think it's very safe to bring out Incin here and just Helping Hand Assurance, because you're never going to want to Wormwind into the Incineroar slot, right? Because you're expecting Follow Me from my end, so I think Helping Hand Assurance here is super safe. And my opponent being Life Orb helps me out here, because, fun fact, if you actually take the damage from Life Orb, that will boost Assurance damage. I actually learned that the hard way, I think, earlier this year. That was not a mechanic I was super aware of, so, yeah. This endgame becomes a little bit scarier, just because Spectre was putting in so much work, but I still feel okay. That being said, may have been better to KO the Incineroar earlier as opposed to the Rillaboom, but Rillaboom is the bigger offensive threat there. Okay. I mean, they could make a crazy read here and actually Wormwind. Okay. I can respect that. That's a really nice read. That is a really nice read. I don't think we KO now anymore. Let's see. Assurance. That's good damage, though. Wow, what a read. What a read. And they're going to go Lariat into the Incin slot, presumably. Yeah. But I still think it's fine, because now I just bring out my Rillaboom. I can double protect, actually, but I don't know if I want to do that. This game ended up being a lot closer than it needed to be, though, and we actually haven't won this yet, because my Rillaboom does not have really strong offense here into the Incineroar slot. I do want to do the Calc on Spectre. Yeah, I just honestly thought we would survive. So if I were to play that differently, I could have just stayed in. Let's see, you're at -2 attack and -2 defense, yeah. So I'm just going to Helping Hand Glide into the Dragapult, and I'm pretty sure Rillaboom plus Clef still wins us this endgame. Even though terrain's disappearing soon enough, like I just don't think the opposing Incineroar really does damage quickly enough. Okay, so we Helping Hand here. Let's see. Like, Helping Hand, Woodhammer. Oh, they go... Okay, my opponents played perfectly these last couple of turns. They've honestly played exactly like they needed to. So let's see if that's enough to get them into... Like, for them to win this one. They're going to Flare Blitz. Probably into Clef, right? Well, they target Rillaboom. Okay, yeah, that's better for us. Because the thing is, you're just taking recoil damage via that by going for that. And now I don't need a Helping Hand, I think, this next turn to KO the Dragapult, I'm pretty sure. So we can just go Glide, Dazzle. But this is an example of a game where my opponent's playing perfectly, but I think we're still in a favorable position. So it's like, there's just nothing my opponent can really do. Even though it looks like we're kind of throwing away our lead, it doesn't matter. I can afford to make these safe plays because I just started this game so far ahead. But well done to them. Like, credit to them. I think they've done exactly what they needed to. So I'm just going to Glide here and go for a Follow Me. Actually, do I need to Follow Me here? I'm trying to terrain left. We're at -1 defense, but they're -2 attack. Yeah. Let's just go for Follow Me. Because I would actually lose to a Flare Blitz crit or burn onto Rillaboom right now. They do correctly go for the double protect, but they don't get it. Okay, that actually could have been a big deal. Because if they got in that, then we actually don't have terrain up anymore, and they actually might win. So props to my opponent, because I think they played it... Like, the Warm Wind into the Instant play was insane. That was super good. I could have just gone Follow Me there, and that probably would have just sealed it up instead. Flare Blitz onto Clef. Nice. We take that. Very good. Okay, no more terrain, but they're still at -2 attack and -2 defense, and we have Helping Hand support from the Clefairy, so I think it should be okay. But this did end up being closer than I wanted it to be, especially because we like don't have a high horsepower or anything here. So let's go for Woodhammer and just Follow Me. Because I think Woodhammer, Follow Me into Helping Hand, Woodhammer should be a KO on Incineroar. Especially if you're one of the bulky berries. Oh, they just forfeit, actually. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Like, this is an example. I know people may watch that and, like, feel a little bit frustrated. Okay, and while we're here, I do want to do the damage calc from Dragapult into Spectrier. I honestly thought we were surviving that, even with Life Orb from Pult. Props to my opponent for the Wormwind play into the Instant. That was crazy. That was so well done. Life Orb, Max Phantasm against Dynamax, Spectrier with no bulk, with Friend Guard. Yeah, they had a favorable roll there. But the fact we could even pick up a KO is concerning. So we have 4 HP, 12 defense. The roll for that, if you're curious, is, assuming you're Jolly Dragapult, which most of the time people are, it's a 6.3 per, it's once, like 1 in 16 times they pick up the KO. Now, if you're Admin, that obviously goes up substantially, and turns into a, let's see, 5H chance to one-shot. So, yeah, I guess I should have assumed Admin max. Because, like, but even then, do I change my play? Because, like, that endgame would have been scary if they got the double protect, and like there's no excuse to be in a position where my opponent could win from a double protect given how big our lead was. So I don't know. What would I have done differently? Like, my opponent had to play out of their mind to even be in that position though, so I don't know. I don't really regret. Like, I feel like things ended up being okay because they had to call like 4 turns in a row correctly, and even with that, we were still able to win. Plus they needed the damage roll to go in their favor as well, right? So yeah, I don't really regret how I played that one. We're up against a very similar team here, so I think it's got to be this similar concept where I probably just Dynamax Spectrier in the early game. We just let Clefairy Spectrier last time around, and this team is very similar to the one we just went up against. However, maybe Instant... Instant's just so good against the Life Orb Dragapult. It's actually just incredible. That I feel compelled to still bring it. Maybe not Rillaboom in this one. I don't know. The priority in that last match was really nice, though, honestly. Yeah, I think we still bring Rillaboom, actually. I think it's just the same 4. Regieleki could make an appearance here, but this team match is just so similar to the last one. Now, I think the last one we had a really big early lead because my opponent led as passively as they did, and that really helped us. And I think one of the upsides of this team is that you see Spectre, you just don't expect it to be Dynamax Spectre with Life Orb, and it just does so much damage across the board, right? So I think that's a really, really big upside for us in this matchup at the moment. Urshifu doesn't really make very much sense here. My opponent's team walls it really hard, especially with Tapu Fini, Dragapult, Clef, like none of those we really want to go up against. So, yeah. And I think Regieleki could be really solid here, but the problem is that my opponent has Dragapult. We can't really lower that thing's speed. It's going to be Clefpult. Maybe I take that back. Because Regieleki would have been pretty sick here. Because we could have just gone Electro Ball turn 1 to KO the opposing Clef. Now, the downside for us here is that the opposing Dragapult's going to be faster. I do have a potential play to make here, though, which is just switch Spectrier out into Incineroar, protect Clefairy turn 1, and just basically try to stall out my opponent's Dynamax. The alternative is to just max Spectrier and just try to KO Clefairy, but I don't know if Helping Hand Phantasm KOs the opposing Clefairy, which is the one downside right now. I think you're likely going to be Life Orb here. My opponent could also go Helping Hand Phantasm into Clefairy. Like, if I were in my opponent's shoes, that's the play I would make, so I want to protect here, and I think just switch out into the Incineroar. We may even consider Dynamax the Incineroar. While that seems kind of unlikely, it's a possibility. Regieleki would have been pretty good against this lead specifically, so yeah. I keep fearing the Regieleki Dragapult combination in these past couple of games, so, you know, that hasn't come out. Okay, Clear Body. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to Dynamax. You always Dynamax with this lead unless you have Dragon Dance, so that makes sense. I mean, I guess you consider switching, like, doing the same kind of play, but the ball's in my opponent's court right now because the Dragapult's faster than the Spectrier, and that's, you know, one of the reasons why Dragapult's still as good as it is. Actually, I don't know. It may have been better to just try to KO Clefairy turn 1. Yeah, they go for Helping Hand. Let's see who... I mean, regardless of who they target, we make it out of turn 1 decently, but then what do we do after turn 2? Because, like, you can just knock out Clefairy next turn with a Helping Hand Phantasm, regardless of who you targeted here. Yeah, they targeted Incin. So much damage too, jeez. Man, this isn't good. Yeah, they're definitely Life Orb here. I think you definitely try to KO Clefairy, and for us to win this game, I honestly think I need Spectrier next out into Clefairy, so I'm gonna go Clefairy out into Rillaboom here, and just go for an Assurance onto the Dragapult, which should bring it down under 50%. I mean, maybe they go for the KO onto Incineroar. That would be a really good play. But I just don't see how we win this game unless we stall out the Dynamax here. The only other play I could have made last turn was Follow Me Phantasm, but then we don't KO the Clefairy, and then they KO our Clefairy most likely, so that's just not worth it. Good Follow Me play here. Yeah, you don't need a Helping Hand, because Phantasm would just KO Clefairy anyway. And they target the Rillaboom slot, yep. Okay, we survived. That's actually a really big survival, because now it means I can just go for a Glide this next turn, or even a Protect, potentially. Good Follow Me from the Clefairy, though. I was expecting the Helping Hand. And Helping Hand would have ensured the KO there onto the Rillaboom, right? Now I think this next turn you protect with the... you protect with Clefairy and you just attacked with the... You protect with the Rillaboom. And my dad's on the phone right now, so if you hear some background noise, I apologize for that. I think he's catching up with a friend. So, like, right now I can just go for... I don't want to fake out, because, like, in this position, Dragapult can only pick up 1 KO, right? Now, if you're my opponent, you should not Wormwind, you should Phantasm, because if you Wormwind, you risk me switching to Clefairy and you losing an attack. However, I'm not going to switch in Clefairy, because once again, the endgame I'm playing towards is just Clefairy plus whatever support I have. So, in this position, I am just going to go for the Grassy Glide onto the Dragapult and the Assurance, expecting the opposing Clefairy to protect. If Clefairy doesn't protect, so be it. Wow, it doesn't protect. Okay, nice play. But, like, what are you really doing here? That's really scary. I don't think it's much. They Airstream Incin. Okay. It's enough for a KO. Oh, it's going to be a Dazzle then. That makes sense. So, I mean, I could have gone Fake Out on Clefairy. Maybe Woodhammer on a Clef would have been better than that. Probably one-shots it. Alright, so now we are fully relying on the Spectre endgame here. Yeah, it's Dazzling Gleam. Dragapult Clef was just such a good lead against me. Like, I think Dragapult's definitely scary because it's one of the few Pokemon that outspeed Spectre if you're using this team. And Dragapult alone isn't a problem, but they have... Like, it's... That lead accomplishes, like, the same thing this lead accomplishes, right? However, now I think we're actually maybe in a decently stable spot because they can't do much damage. The other interesting question is whether or not I actually consider going for a Dynamax this turn. Because I think Dragapult's very likely going to Phantom Force. And I can just redirect that away, obviously, with the Follow Me in the subsequent turn. My only question here is whether or not Helping Hand Phantasm KOs the Clefairy. But if you're my opponent, I think it's possible that you just protect Clefairy here, Phantom Force this turn. So I mean, my opponent doesn't have any Ghost... I mean, yeah, you have Urshifu. If you're Urshifu Dark, which you should be, that is a resist. I think it's likely they protect, but I don't know how much that actually matters here. I'm just going to Helping Hand Phantasm. Like, Dragapult, I think, always is going to Phantom Force here. I'm never targeting Dragapult because I can just redirect its damage away the subsequent turn. What would have been a better lead against this? I can't really lead Fake Out. I can't really lead Urshifu. Like, I feel like against Clefpult, we have to stall out the max. Because I just don't think we can match the Dynamax in the early game. But I guess Clefairy Spectrier put us in a disadvantage in the early game, so I don't know. Okay, we Helping Hand. What do they go for? Is it a Protect on Clef? Yeah, I mean, we would have had an extra Dynamax turn if I just Shadow Balled there. I really didn't want to risk it. And they could, like, Dragon Darts there as well, and it would double up into the Spectrier and would kind of hurt. So, I don't know. Okay, we get Phantasm off, yeah. I think that looks like it would have been a KO. The problem is that normally, like, with the Spectrier, you want to, like, loosen up your opponent's Pokemon's defenses so that a Physical Sweeper comes in and just puts in a lot of work, but in this case, like, we can't really accomplish that. So now we can go for... Dazzle's not even going to KO. They probably just follow me. I guess I just Helping Hand Phantasm? This is such a bad spot to be in, actually. That was a good Protect last turn. I should have read into it. I think I did need to read into it. And it was such an obvious play that, like... I think because we were so far behind already, kind of had to play into it. Yeah, I'm gonna Helping Hand Phantasm here. I mean, they might Helping Hand instead of going for Follow Me. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't think you KO us, but the thing is that you still outspeed us with the Pult. The one upside is that Dragapult's not that great outside of Dynamax, but it's still going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, Phantom Force. Bruh. Oh, I didn't think that would bring us down to 1 HP, to be honest. Wow. Well, we lose now. I thought we'd definitely survive that with a little bit more. That is impressive. What is the damage calc on that? We have the calc here, so let's just check it out. Because we have Friend Guard here, too. Helping Hand, Life Orb, Phantom Force, if you are Jolly, is... Even with Friend Guard up, it's so strong. Wow. 25% chance to one-shot. Yeah, these Dragapults are just kind of a problem. They have Regieleki as the back. Yeah, I feel like the main problem here is that they were just faster than us the entirety of the match, and I can't lower Dragapult's speed either. This is a pretty shaky matchup, honestly. I just don't really know what else we could have done. Like, I knew it was going to be Life Orb Pulse as well, but with it outspeeding us consistently, I just, like, don't really think there are many options. So, yeah, that was a tough one. But my opponent had really good execution as well, and I think that's really important in a matchup like this. They played well from the start, and also, I think, made every correct play with the Dragapult. I don't know how I can beat Clefpult, especially because they have Airstream as well. I guess it's maybe lead Regieleki. Like, with Regieleki, at least I can force a potential KO onto Clef with Electro Ball immediately on turn 1. But then I still have to do a Dragapult plus Regieleki in the end game. So it's like, maybe I bring Regieleki and I have Clefairy in the back. That's a possibility, but I'd have to think about it a little bit more. Either way, though, Spectre was really fun for us today. That second game was pretty crazy. It felt like maybe we were actually going to lose after such a strong start, but in the end, it was still enough to win. Yeah, I would have liked to see my opponent not forfeit there, but I think Rillaboom plus Clef support, especially because they could not KO Clef with the Flare Blitz, meant that we had it sealed up, because like we could just go for Follow Me Woodhammer into Helping Hand Woodhammer. So I think that endgame was fine. But they made some really crazy plays to get back into it, so props to them. That's kind of how you have to play when you're so far behind in a game. So, yeah. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. Feel free to try out the team. Once again, details are linked in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. All right, peace.